Hi everybody and welcome to the Project Management course. I am Francesco and I will be your travel companion in this challenging task. It's my pleasure to share with you my extensive experience in this exciting discipline, and I will do my best to alleviate any difficulties may arise in order to make you fully understand what project management is and how to apply it in your everyday life. In the first part, the course will show the reasons why project management today has become so widely applied. Then we'll focus on who is a project manager, which are the skills he needs, and which role he plays in a model enterprise. Moreover, it will introduce the basic concepts and the definitions adopted in the discipline. In the next step, will be outlined the various organizational structures models, focusing the staffing and the team building processes. Then an overview about stress and conflict management, performance measurement, and project management effectiveness will take place. The second part will introduce the 10 project management knowledge areas as described on the Project Management Body of Knowledge, the book published by the Project Management Institute, and which I define the Project Manager's Bible. Then will be provided a detailed theoretical description for each of them, along with an introduction to the related tools and techniques. Finally, the last module will be an overview of what makes a project successful. Now, let's take a closer look to the course structure. The first lesson, Introduction, will answer to the question why project management. Then we'll show how defining a project. The second lesson, What is project management, will describe the discipline and will present the contrast between two different ways of managing, product versus project management, along with an overview of what we should consider as an effective project management. The third lesson will clarify what is project manager, the project manager's skills, and the project manager's role. The lesson 4 will illustrate the project management definitions and general concepts, introducing the project management body of knowledge as outlined in the very fundamental guide published and periodically updated by the Project Management Institute. In particular, the Project Management Framework and the 10 knowledge areas. The Lesson 5 will describe the organizational workflow concepts and will compare the classical versus matrix organization. Lesson 6 will be about planning and scheduling, illustrating the general planning and life cycle phases, then the statement of work, specifications, milestones. In the Lesson 7 will be addressed the conflicts and stress handling, and specifically conflicts management and resolution, and time management, stress, burnout. Lesson 8 will deal about the value of a team and performance management, how staffing the project team, and the addressing of some very critical issues, performance, compensation, and rewards. The second part of the course will deepen the concepts and definitions organized in 10 knowledge areas, as described on the Project Management Body of Knowledge. This book contains the internationally applied project management standards and describes the project management processes widely recognized as a good practice to successfully manage most types of projects in the various industries. Let us individually analyze them. Integration Management Lesson 9, as stated in the PM book, includes all the processes and activities to identify, define, combine, unify and coordinate the various processes and project management activities within the project management process groups. We will deepen how to create a project charter and a project management plan, then how to manage, monitor and control the project work. Scope Management Lesson 10 includes all the processes required to define and control the work required to complete successfully the project. We will deepen how to collect requirements, define and validate scope, then how to create a work breakdown structure. Schedule Management Lesson 11 defines the processes to build a detailed plan representing when and how must be delivered the project's outcomes defined in the project scope. We will learn how to define and sequence the activities and how to develop and control the schedule. Cost Management Lesson 12 includes all the processes needed to plan, manage and control costs in order to complete the project within the approved budget. We will see how to plan, estimate and control cost, and how manage the budget. Quality Management Lesson 13 includes all processes and activities to be implemented in order to satisfy all projects' quality needs. We will discuss how to plan, manage and control quality and the implementation of quality measurement. Project Resource Management Lesson 14 identifies all the processes we need to implement to identify, acquire and manage all the resources needed to complete the project successfully. We will describe how to plan, acquire and control resources and how to develop and manage team. Communications Management Lesson 15 defines the processes needed to plan, collect, distribute, store, retrieve, control, monitor and dispose all project information. We will see how to plan, manage and monitor communications and identify main communications tools and tips. Risk Management Lesson 16 includes the processes for planning, identifying, analyzing, reacting to and controlling all the project risks. We will see how to plan, identify and monitor risks and how conducting the risk analysis and risk response. Procurement Management Lesson 17 identifies the processes necessary to acquire outside the project team the products or services needed to complete the project scope. We will see how to plan, conduct and control procurement, and identify requirements, requisition, solicitation, and award cycles. Stakeholder Management Lesson 18 deals with the processes required to identify people, groups, or organizations that can impact or could be impacted by the project, analyze their expectations, and properly engage them during the project execution. We will see how to identify stakeholders and how to plan, manage, and monitor stakeholders' engagement. Tools and Techniques Lesson 19 will show the basic tools and techniques required to manage a project, including the scheduling techniques and the production of project graphics. The Successful Project Lesson 20 will illustrate what are the prerequisites for project success and how can we obtain the maximum profit from lesson learned. Now let's start with the question: why should we use project management? Very simple. Adopting it increases dramatically the chance to reach the target we have set by disciplining the way things are done, using standard processes, optimizing the tasks and minimizing the risks. In short, obtain quality results within the three basic constraints of time, cost and scope. Applying project management will result in 1. Adaptability to change, 2. Optimization of resources utilization, 3. Risk reduction, 4. Reutilization of management processes. The classical management organization lasted more than 2 centuries, has nowadays exposed its limits. The rapid change in the technologies, the increased demands from the marketplace, The need for a complete integration among the various activities of an enterprise, and last but not least, the necessity to act in a very unstable economic environment, all encouraged new forms of management. Especially, the necessity of facing stricter economic constraints resulted in a tentative of limiting costs by reducing the workforce to the minimum and replacing the worker with new equipment or facilities, but was not the best answer. Only a redefinition of how the activities were made and their optimization resulted to be successful. So, what are the main drawbacks of the old way of doing? First of all, the lack of a unique responsibility for the whole project. The various line managers controlled the achievement of their results of their specific area, marketing, administration, operations, etc. But the overall responsibility was at so high hierarchical level, which actually consisted only in conflict resolution. In addition, the coordination of the various departments' goals was quite complex, and a considerable time was usually wasted in the decisions approval process, which often was a decision made only in favor of the strongest part. Finally, the customer's point of view only marginally was object of consideration, and the main emphasis was oriented on the functional organization accomplishments. It's not easy to make an old classical enterprise to turn into the project management philosophy. Usually it is experienced a strong resistance to change, especially if its executives are not able to explain well to their employees the advantages of such decision. For example, the marketing or sales force could fear to lose their power in managing the customer relationship or the enterprise profits. The procurement or human resources department could fear to be limited in their prerogatives and being bypassed, or the finance department could fear to have an extra workload because of the project management. In these cases, the appropriate executive's behavior should be explain why it is necessary to change and what are the advantages expected to have, formalize the change and support it as appropriate, for example, setting up a training program. A project is any initiative whose goal is to set up a unique product, service or result within the triple constraint of time, cost and scope previously defined. We can use this approach for almost everything we have to do within a fixed date with a limited cost and with a defined goal. For example, building a new house, move an enterprise to another city, start a philanthropic institution, organize a convention. Other relevant traits of a project consist in its sequential development and progressive elaboration. This means that a project is set up in steps and is refined with increasing accuracy as it goes on. Among the most important activities of a project, with no doubt, we have the planning and the monitoring. The first aims to define the work and the resources needed. The second consists in tracking the course of the activities, comparing the actual result with the planned one, evaluating the situation, and making adaptations if required. We can say a project is successful when it ends in time, within planned cost, with desired quality, with minimum scope changes, and, very important, obtain the maximum possible level of customer satisfaction. And now let us check what we have learned in this lesson, answering to the following questions. 1. What are the three basic constraints of a project? 2. What are the advantages with respect to the classical management in adopting the project management methodologies? 3. What is the definition of a project? 4. What is the difference between planning and monitoring? Let us check together the answers. Question 1 was, what are the 3 basic constraints of a project? The answer is time, cost, and scope. Question 2 was, what are the advantages with respect to the classical management in adopting the project management methodologies? The answer is adaptability to change, optimization of resources utilization, risk reduction, reutilization of management processes. Question 3 was, what is the definition of a project? The answer is any initiative whose goal is to set up a unique product, service, or result within the triple constraint of time, cost, and scope, previously defined. Question 4 was, what is the difference between planning and monitoring? The answer is, the planning aims to define the work and the resources needed. The monitoring consists in tracking the course of the activities, comparing the actual result with the planned one, evaluating the situation and making adaptations if required. After we have successfully completed this exercise, I think we will be ready to move to the next unit. What is project management?